What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We have a late night reaction. We got the second edition of the college football playoff rankings. Just wanted to give you guys a live reaction, not a live, but a fresh reaction to the updated rankings. It's going to be a quick episode, just in and out. Just wanted to give you guys my reactions, tell you, what I think the committee got right, what I think they got wrong. So let's just hurry up and jump into it. At number one, we have Ohio State. Number two, we have Indiana. Number three, we have Texas A&M. Number four, we got Alabama. Five, Georgia. At six, we got Texas Tech. At seven, we got Ole Miss. Eight, we got Oregon. Nine, we got Notre Dame. At 10, we got Texas. At 11, we got Oklahoma. At 12, BYU. Utah at 13, Vandy at 14, Miami at 15, Georgia Tech at 16, Southern California at 17. We got Michigan at 18, Virginia at 19, Louisville at 20, Iowa at 21, Pitt at 22, Tennessee at 23, USF at 24, and we got Cincinnati at 25. Not there's a couple interesting things in this week's edition. I think the most glaring and eye-opening thing is probably Miami, man. It feels like Miami now has a chance to make the playoffs, in which last week when they were down all the way at 18 and Notre Dame was all the way at 9, it didn't really feel like they had a chance. It did not feel like they had a chance. But today, with the committee putting them at 15, it feels like they're kind of telling you that, hey, if Miami, they handle business, they finish 10-2, they win with style points and they dominate teams. I mean, why couldn't they climb up, especially with some of those teams, some of the path the teams in front of them have to take? We know Oklahoma, they play Tennessee, or no, they play Alabama, they play LSU, they play Mizzou. We know Texas, they play Texas A&M and Georgia. It feels like BYU could maybe slip up and take another loss. Vandy, they still play Tennessee. In Miami, I mean, they play Pitt, but, outside of that Pitt game, it feels like they should, finish out the season, without a loss. Because, yeah, like I said, after that week one, the first college football playoff rankings last week, it felt like it was a tall, tall task for Miami to climb to find their way maybe in the playoffs or, trying to get in there. But them being at 15, man, it feels like the door was left open a little bit. It feels like the door was left a little open. And there could be a conversation if Miami and Notre Dame both finish 10-2. Because for example, if Miami keeps winning, they're going to keep climbing. It doesn't feel like Notre Dame has a lot of room to climb unless, some of these teams in front of them just completely shit the bed. But it kind of feels like Notre Dame is kind of stuck. Because let's just go through it. Ohio State, it doesn't feel like Ohio State's going to lose a game, and if they do, it's probably going to be in the Big Ten championship. Doesn't feel like Indiana's going to lose a game, and if they do, it's probably going to be in the Big Ten championship. Doesn't feel like Texas A&M is maybe going to slip up, and if they do, again, it might be in the SEC championship. Alabama, they have, but even if any of these top 5 teams lose, they're not going to get put behind Notre Dame. I think Alabama, even with 2 losses, they'd both have 2 losses, but Alabama would still have a better resume than Notre Dame. Georgia would still have a better resume than Notre Dame. The only team I could see losing and falling behind Notre Dame would probably be Texas Tech. But Ole Miss, they only have 1 loss, and they have, a decent resume. So it just feels like Notre Dame is kind of stuck and doesn't really have a lot of room to move up. So that's going to be interesting. Again, end of the season, if Miami and Notre Dame were both 10-2, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the committee does. What else kind of enticed me or sparked my interest? I I was a tad bit, not too much, but just a tad bit surprised that they did not put Texas A&M over Indiana. I thought there was a chance with Indiana kind of struggling and having to go on a game-winning touchdown run to beat Penn State that Texas A&M with another dominant performance could have, jumped over them. And I'm not mad that they didn't. Indiana was number 2 and they won, so you know we're picking, we're nitpicking at that point if you're going to drop a team for winning for winning. That's the name of the game, is to win. And I think Indiana still, deserves to be number 2. A&M at 3 is fine. What else is there? I don't know, man. Another thing I wanted to bring up was the ACC, man, because after the last couple weeks with Georgia Tech and Miami losing 2 weeks ago, Virginia and Louisville losing last week, it felt like the ACC was a guaranteed only one bid league. It really did. And it felt like we were lucky to get a bid. I'm it. It kind of feels like now the door is open to get 2 teams. The door is open because, like I said with Miami, if Miami wins out, they could be at, because Miami, they're not going to win unless absolute Armageddon comes. It doesn't feel like Miami's not going to make the ACC Conference Championship game. Like a lot of stuff would have to happen for them to make it. But again, they are at play for a playoff. They're at play for a at-large spot. They are at play for an at-large spot. And if they don't make the conference championship and they win out, they go 10-2, they look impressive, they look dominant down the stretch, and they could get an at-large spot, then whoever wins the ACC, whether it be Georgia Tech or Pitt or Virginia or whoever, they could get the auto bid from the ACC. So, again, it still feels like a little bit of a stretch just because who knows if Miami is going to win out. And even if they do win out, who knows if they're going to get put in. But if they win out, it feels like they're going to keep climbing a little bit. And that definitely does open up the door for 2 teams in the ACC. Let's see. They finally did rank a group of 5 team. USF is the first group of 5 team that has been ranked. I was a little surprised I did not see JMU in the rankings. Them being a 8-1, 9-1 group of 5 team. They're only lost to Louisville, who's a top 25 ranked team right now. So I was a little surprised they weren't ranked. But then I think it was either Reese Davis or McElroy. They said that JMU has like the 102nd strength of schedule in the country. So I think that's pretty much why they weren't ranked, is because of the fact that their strength of schedule is so bad. Iowa, I'm not mad at the committee only dropping Iowa down 1 spot for losing, because we know that the committee has valued losses. Like, they've valued, whether they should or not, the committee is valuing good losses. That's the whole reason Notre Dame is still ranked high, is because both of their losses are to ranked teams, So that's the reason why Utah's ranked high as well, because both of their losses are to top 12 teams in BYU and Texas Tech. So we know the committee is valuing losses, good losses. So Iowa losing to Oregon, the number 8 team, by literally a game-winning field goal with 3 seconds left. They only get docked one spot. So what else do we have? I'm not surprised Texas Tech jumped Ole Miss. I really am not surprised. Texas Tech has 2 statement wins, not just wins. They have 2 statement wins against top 13 teams. They obviously beat BYU last week in a statement win, shutting them out damn near until late 4th quarter. They pummeled Texas in the 4th quarter in their matchup in Salt Lake City. So I think the Texas Tech is really the committee's really valuing those 2 wins and just the dominant performance in which Texas Tech has been winning by. And again, Ole Miss, they played Citadel. So one team played the number 8 team in the country or the 7 or 8 team in the country and dominated, and one team played Citadel. That's what you can't argue about Ole Miss dropping a point when you're scheduling cupcake games this late into the season. So yeah, I'm not mad about Texas Tech jumping Ole Miss. But yeah, that right there is pretty much all of the main reactions that I had for this one. There's not really anything else that sticks out. There's still a few weeks left, so there's still a lot of time for a lot of movement. And I will not be surprised at all if there is a lot of movement. We can go over the playoff projections just based off of this updated college football playoff rankings. So right now, as it would stand, Oregon would play the one seed would be Ohio State, two would be Indiana, three would be A&M, and four would be Bama. Excuse me. And then Oregon and Notre Dame would play in the 8-9 game. Ole Miss and Texas would play in the 7-10 game. We got Texas Tech versus Miami. That'd be a banger of a game. In the 6-11 game, and then we have Georgia versus USF in the 5-12 game. And of course, these are just based off of like Miami. Like I don't. I think I'm pretty sure these are just based off the fact that Miami is the highest ranked ACC team in the projection. So I think that's all these projections are based off of. So yeah, we are coming down to the nitty gritty of things. Got a couple more weeks of the season left. I think the final playoff rankings will come out with that first week of December after conference championship. So yeah, stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe so you can stay tuned into all the updated college football talks that we do here on this channel. So if you're still here, I appreciate you for listening.